kind of round table it, right, guys, and talk about those things and bring our ideas to the table. So anyway, I'll turn it over to Amber for a minute to kind of.
Awesome. Thank you, Dawn. I went ahead and started the recording because I know that there were several people that had to miss tonight. So I figured we could record this and post it on the Amazing Race group page. But yeah, we are so excited for all of you guys that are in the Amazing Race. And I know that this has been stretching so many of us. And we're doing the challenges right alongside you guys too. But raise your hand if any of this has like made you go outside your comfort zone. Okay, I'm seeing lots and lots of hands. Love it. And the cool part about it is, like Dawn mentioned, sorry, Isaiah's kind of congested, so that's why I'm holding him. He's not wanting me to put him down. So the cool thing about that is everyone is so different, like Dawn mentioned. So what stretches one of you is like a cakewalk for the other person, you know? And that's what's really fun about this journey too, is meeting other people that you can partner with, because when you partner with other people who are good at things you're not good at, hey, that makes your job easier. You just collaborate, do what you're good at, and bring your gifts together. So it's really awesome. Anyway, we are just so proud of you guys. We know that this has been stretching you and growing you. And hopefully the ultimate goal is that you're growing your business. So majority of you are adding people, and I know that that was a big victory for a lot of you guys. And you have been planting a ton of seeds. So don't be discouraged if you've really been working hard and you've only added maybe 1 or 2 people. You've planted some really good seeds, and we're hoping to see that harvest obviously in the next month or 2 for Leaders Retreat credits. But that's kind of just, we're really excited for you guys. We have so we're in week 4. We're halfway through, you guys. So finish strong. Make sure that you guys are still putting your all into it, and keep in mind next week is 4th of July. So I know a lot of you guys probably have some weekend plans and stuff, so plan accordingly. We already posted the challenges for this week. But I think that's pretty much it for that. Dawn, did you want to, or Julie, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I just actually, like the planting seeds thing, like it's so true. Like here's what I want you to think about. Like you're working on building your business and hopefully personally sponsoring as well. And so that may show itself right away, or it may take a couple weeks. And so sometimes I'll hear like, oh, I'm getting discouraged. And I'm like, please take that word out of your vocabulary, because if you keep that word in your vocabulary, you will be using it a lot, because this business is highs and lows. And so you kind of have to get used to riding the roller coaster, because let me tell you guys, there have been times where I have felt like, am I even doing the right thing? Is this even for me? And then the next week, it's like the best week I've had. So you have to kind of just remember that you're planting seeds, and those may show themselves tomorrow, or they may show themselves next week, or next month, or in 3 months from now. And so I want you to think about the things that we're doing in this challenge. I've said this in one of my lives, but really think about like not just doing those activities for this 6 weeks, but like repeating them, like kind of stay in the group, and like after this is all over, and like remind yourself of like, if you ever don't know what to do to grow your business, you're kind of stuck, go back to these things and kind of redo them. Like it's not just a 6-week thing. Like we're trying to teach you things that you can continuously do in your business to help grow it,
Yeah, I love that, Julie. And I always say, my team hears me say this like all the time, but trust the process. You've got to trust the process. If you are doing the activity and your belief is where it needs to be and you're consistent with it, I call it the ABCs of Plexus. If your activity is up, your belief is up, and your consistency is up, then you just have to trust the process that it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen.
Well, something that I love kind of numbers and goals. It's kind of my thing. And one thing that I've heard before said is it's really kind of is the 90-day rule. I mean, yes, sometimes we see fruit right away, but in general, we can count on about 90 days. So the things that you're doing today show up 90 days later. So therefore, if you're really working your business and being consistent and reaching out and doing your IPA, the fruit of that's going to happen in 90 days. But the opposite is true. If we're not doing what we're supposed to do, if we're taking a break, if we're going on vacation and we're just kind of, the fruit of that's going to show up in 90 days. And so that, like, kind of sometimes if we decide to pull back, and that is something that can happen in the summer months, right? That's a decision. Yes, or if we pull back right away and our businesses, we're still making money and it's still going pretty good and we're still adding people, that's because that what's happening in that time is because of what you did 90 days ago. Does that make sense? So don't just always kind of keep that in your back of your mind in this business. It's so it can go to your benefit or to your detriment. So staying consistent is very important.
Okay, let's talk shop about ending the month strong, because we are on, so it's June 27th. We have 3 more days after today. So let's kind of just talk shop about what that looks like. Dawn, do you think we should just kind of like roundtable it, like you said, and share a couple tips?
I think so, because we all probably have a little bit different take on it.
Okay. So my main things, I think, are, I mean, this is kind of when you're going through your reports. And for some of you, you know, you may have a genealogy downline report of 2 people. Some of you may have like 200. But you need to be kind of going through your reports. So if some of you don't know what that is, you go to your back office and go to reports, and then there's detailed genealogy. Pull that up, and this is where you want to be looking at, okay, who is close to silver? Who is a senior ambassador and 1 away from silver? I really like to focus on helping people promote to silver the end of the month, well, anytime, but for sure, if they are 1 person away and we've got 3 days, let's get them silver, because that $100 bonus will be on their next paycheck, their big paycheck. So that's kind of a goal I always have. And then I'm also looking to see who's close to 500 PV. And then with Leaders Retreat contests, we know that the more PV you have up until a certain point, the more credits you get. So if somebody's, you know, 975 PV, and you know when they reach 1,000 PV, they're going to get so many more credits, that's somebody you want to be reaching out to. I mean, like, your PV is awesome. If you sell 1 more blah, 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 you're going to be up some more credits. So that's kind of what the things I tend to focus on towards the end of the month.
Something else you can think about right now too is if you've gotten any of the emails about win back your ambassadors, win back your customers, it will tell you the people that those emails are going to. So be sure that you're using those and reaching out. That's a great reason to follow up. And you know, I just send a voice message and I just say, hey, Melissa, I just wanted to be sure that you saw the same email that I saw. So exciting. Plexus is offering you, you know, 20% off. So I just want to be sure, you know, you got that. Have you seen that in your email? Always end it with a question. And then, you know, that can kind of open up the conversation on where kind of their head's at on coming back and what their reasons are. And then you can kind of talk them through that. And I also look at, I go through and look at whose convenience order should have processed by now. But so I sort my, if you're not sure, you click on your genealogy report and you can click on the top column of convenience order date, and then you click it again, and it'll go from like, the last days of the month to the newest days of the month. So you'll get like the people that are, you know, the 28th, 27th, 26th, 25th. And so I look at all of those. I mean, I go back and look at, is there anybody that their convenience order should have shipped, but their PV still shows 0 or less than 100 PV? That means, and then I can go in and look at their order, and that means that there's been an issue that maybe we need to look at.
And I'm going to piggyback real quick on that. Sorry. Convenience orders are so important. You need to be going through anyone that's joined your team in the past 30 days and seeing who does not have their convenience order in place. Because we know if they've just joined, somebody should have had the pep talk with them. They need to be committed for 60 days, right? Because their health goal is probably something that's going to take longer than a week to see a difference, right? So they need to have their convenience order in place for that consistency to get the results that they're looking for. So if they don't have a convenience order in place, that's something you need to be going back and helping them with.
Yeah. And guys, it's really about the way that we present it. it really is about us. So when someone doesn't have it on, it's really about, and I'm going to be a little tough love here. It's really about the way the sponsor has presented it or not presented it. And so that's really our job, as being really good sponsors, to be able to really explain that, and it not be like ooh, there's this thing and you kind of have to do it and it's an auto ship, but instead it's we want you to get the very best results that you can possibly have. You want to be doing this for 60, for 90 days. Plexus is awesome. But it's not magic. It's a process. I mean, you want to educate people so that's all part of that conversation. And if you're not sure how to have that conversation, I totally say, get your sponsor as somebody that maybe, and it could be a sideline that maybe is a good mentor to you, to maybe do that three-way or to kind of give you that validation and do it with you, to model that, because it is a very important conversation to have. Because we want long-term stability of our business too. So not only, there's two reasons for it. It's because we want them to have great results. We want to make sure that they have their products and they're consistent and they have a great testimony. But also from a business standpoint, is we want a good foundation on our business. We don't want somebody to join 1 month and then not register any points at all the next month. That's creating an unstable business, and we can't predict that. And it honestly affects everybody all the way up the line. So when somebody down that's a level 4 doesn't have their convenience on, it's affecting everybody 3 or 4 levels up. So this is a team. It's a team sport. So we're always kind of thinking of each other too, and how to make sure that we're doing that. So,
well, and can I add to that, Dawn? Majority of the people you sign, or at least for me personally, start out as wholesalers because they want the discount, right? So I may be thinking about Plexus all day, every day, because this is my passion, but my brand new wholesaler, they're hopeful that the products are going to help them, but they're not thinking about it all the time until they're down to 2 slims and they're like, oh my gosh, like I don't have any more. What am I going to do? I had someone call me last week and he was like, I have 5 left. Like I need my order. So that's kind of the way it is. They're not thinking about Plexus until they run out. And by then it's a little too late to do the right thing now. So.
Yeah. And here's the deal. The statistics show, and I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but if they don't set up a convenience order, they are having to every month remake the decision to buy. Okay. And if you aren't like necessarily in communication with them a whole lot, they're not having you like cheering them on, like, and they're like, remember that commitment. So like the odds of them making that decision and reordering, are only like 20%. Like chances are 80% of the time they're not going to get back on and reorder, because it's like, other stuff comes up and now, swimming lessons, and maybe I just won't get that Plexus anymore. And, so set that up, because you want them to be consistent with their products. And here's what I say when I'm like, the wording I say when I'm signing someone up is I say, we're talking about triplex or whatever. And I say, I want to be very upfront with you, because I tell everyone this: these products are not prescriptions. They are all natural, plant-based. And I'm sure you understand, and that these products will take time, and that, it takes 90 days for your gut microbes to start healing and for your cells to regenerate. And so just so you should really be, if you're wanting the wholesale discount, you should really, consider either way, but especially wholesale discount is really to your benefit if you're at least going to give it, I now say 12 weeks, because that seems like a little bit easier for this than 90 days, but 12 weeks. And so then I always sign people, I try to really sign people up over the phone. And if we get to that point that we're setting up the convenience order and they say they're not, well, I don't know if I want to do that, then I stop the process, and then we need to go back as a customer, because, really wholesale memberships are really meant for people who are like really going to be committed to like 12 weeks at least.
Well, and I love that, looking at the wholesale as kind of like, not this exclusive thing, but you really do want to know that they're committed to it before you really go forward with that option.
All right, good. That's good. Yeah, I know I always talk about that. I say 3 months is sort of what I say with people, like, oh, wholesale is a great option if you're ready and you understand it's going to take 3 or more months. So We all got that, right? Everybody give thumbs up. Convenience orders are good. We want to make sure that we have them on. That's awesome. My house is very busy, so there's in and out. So if you guys hear noise, sorry. Good. All right. So let's talk about, was there anything else? The only thing, I made a few notes about what you guys said. The only other thing I wanted to say is that as you're looking at the end of the month hustle, we're talking about that. As you're looking at your genealogy report, my mom just came in. Hi, Mom. She just dropped something off in my office. I need doors. I really need doors in my office, and I just need to do it, but I don't. It's open, and there's chaos. Okay.
How do you not have doors? You have 5 kids.
I know. It's so crazy because usually I have them in bed by 9, and that's when I do my work, but it's summer, and there's like everybody's having a sleepover tonight, and everybody's roller skating outside right now because it's not dark yet. So anyway, sorry. Okay, so what I was going to say is you're looking at your genealogy report. Another thing to really look for is when you look at those PVs where that comes up and you can click it twice and it'll go from highest to lowest PV. I like to kind of scroll through that and figure out where my breaking point is when I get to people at 100, and then the next person under them is like 89.95, right? And then I look and see all the people that have PV that are under $100. And I like to target in on those people because this is what that is. This is what that means. That means they're using the products and they probably like the products, but they're under 100 PV. And so therefore they're not registering any points at all, which is pay points for those of you guys that are new. We register pay points when someone reaches $100 PV. So that's like the magic number. And so those people we want to really target in on because we want those people to get to 100. So here's what my people say to me. They're like, well, how do you reach out to them and not make it feel like you just want them to buy more stuff so you get pay points? I'm like, yeah, that's not the point. No, because we know that we want to help people. We want them to get the very best health results possible. And if they're only doing the slim, then you can go back to that new graphic that I think is awesome, the weed, feed, seed, or weed, seed, feed, protect thing. They're only feeding. We are missing the 2 steps over here. Therefore, that's 1, 2, 3 products. If they're just doing something, that's 3 products that they need to go with that slim to get their bodies ready, their gut ready for the slim, right, guys? And so really making those product recommendations is good for everybody. It's great for them. They're going to get better health results. And that's ultimately what we're doing here. Another thing you can do is if you're looking at those people, you want to go to their order history and look and see what they've ordered in the past. So maybe this month they're only ordering the slim, but then last month they ordered the triplex, and then the month before that they ordered the triplex and the P96. So I look at that and I say, okay, well, obviously they're familiar with the ProBio and the BioCleanse because it's sort of like deductive reasoning. They probably have leftover BioCleanse and ProBio, maybe, and that's why, right, that they're not ordering. So they've got leftover product, which means they weren't probably taking their product consistently last month. So we need to have maybe that conversation. So you can look at that order history and kind of look at it and then reach out to them. Hey, are you taking it consistently? How many ProBios are you taking a night? Are you taking your BioCleanse? Like making sure that they're taking the products properly. And then maybe recommending, if let's say you can kind of tell from their products that they are looking for weight loss. Maybe in the past they've ordered Accelerator, they've ordered P96. You know what I mean? And make that, how's it going on the weight loss? Should we switch? Let's try Boost this month. So making those product recommendations can make a really big difference. And by understanding their order history, you're showing that you care and that you've invested a little bit of time and energy into really helping them with their health goals. And so you can switch that mindset instead of thinking, I just want them to buy more so I get points. Take that mindset off the table. Come at it from a different angle.
Can I add to that, Dawn? I did that the other day, and I reached out to a level 2 that I knew used to be pretty regular on the products with ordering 100 PV because she was on the triplex. And I realized her last couple orders have only been like, basically like $30 here, $40 here, that kind of thing. I reached out to her, and she was saying it's a money issue. She's like, I love our products. I cannot stop taking the ProBio 5 because it's changed my health. So that one will stay, but she's like rationing her X Factor. She's a nursing mom, and so am I. So I get how important that is. So for her, it was a money issue. And so I love the business because I know how you can do it. Like anyone can do this, right? And get your points covered. And so I was just telling her, I was like, you can get your points free, right? Let's get you and she was like, okay, let me think about it. The next day, she's asking me questions about the sale, the special. She has a new customer. Like, all you guys, you have to kind of like let people know, hey, we can get these paid for. She loves the product. She just wasn't in a place where she felt she could afford them. So
that's a great point. That's really good, Amber. So then, but it's all about the communication. So good. That's excellent. I think that's all I had as far as the end of the month hustle. Like, you want to really know your reports, work your reports. If you're confused and you're having questions, get on a Zoom with your sponsor or a sideline mentor and do a share screen. And you can actually pull your back office up through Zoom under the share screen, and you guys can walk through it. And, that way you feel really comfortable with those reports, because we're business owners. Don't forget, when we we only pay $34.95 to own a business, which is amazing, but we're business owners. So we need to have that entrepreneurial business mindset. And business owners, at the end of the month, they're running their reports. They understand their business. They understand the health of their organization. And so that's what we want to train our minds and ourselves to do. And like I say this all the time to my team and in the Amazing Race, we behave and I didn't come up with it. I wish I did. But we behave our way to success. So don't, as I'm saying this, I don't want you thinking, yeah, well, I just started and I'm just barely a silver, so I'm not. That's not it. No, you behave your way to success. You behave like you're a diamond with, 10,000 people on your team, and you've got that many people on your team. You understand your reports. You learn how to run a report, and you learn how to make sure that you've got a healthy organization. So that's who we are, right, guys? Okay, cool.
And then I think next order of business, we were just going to talk real quick about goal setting, because not only do you want to finish the month of June strong, but we have to realize like the next, 2 months after this are still adding points for Leaders Retreat, right? So even if you've had an awesome month in June, that doesn't mean you can take the first week of July off. July 4th is one day, not 1 week. So, you have to go into July with a plan already and goals. So you need to, bless you. Sorry, we're a 3 sneeze kind of person over here. So you need to go into the month with your goals, knowing your PV. Where do you want that PV to be? If you finish this month at 1,000 PV, what if you can push really hard and get that next level up in July? Let's pass some goals. Every month be trying to push harder and better yourself and expect more, because the seeds you planted in June should ideally, be coming to fruition sooner than later. So really, but be realistic too. Like if you in this month at 500, you can set your goal for 2,500 PV, but just be realistic with yourself, with what that's going to require.
Good. Yeah. So who would say that they think they're a good goal setter? Just kind of raise your hand. Okay, good. It's something that sometimes comes naturally for some people because they really like it. But then for others, does anybody feel like they just want to puke when you have to think about sitting down and writing out goals? Anybody? Raise your hand. Okay, I've got some, because I get that. Some people are like, oh, that sounds terrible. Kind of like when I have to feel like I have to put something together for my kids, and read the directions. I'm like, oh, okay, but I have to do it, or it doesn't get put together, right? Or we're all sitting around and they're looking at me like, Mom, I thought you were smart and you're not. They're crying because the toy won't get put together. It's just kind of the same thing. It's one of the things, you just have to do it, whether you like it or not, because you got to put your business together. It's how you piece it together for success. And so make yourself do it. Okay, just make you sit down. The best time to do it is probably going to be over this weekend, right? It is the weekend. We're moving into, I personally love Sunday nights. It feels like a fresh kind of downtime. Sunday night, get everybody in bed early, calm the house down, sit down with your notebook. If you have a good planner, a good calendar, there's probably a space in there that has it. If you guys, they did the the Plexus ones, I know they have, like, if you guys see the July goals, so they, build them into planners. And so, so some good things to do when goal setting is you want to reflect on the month that you just had. Okay, it's always good to be reflective. What was something that I was really proud of, that I really thought was great that I did in the month of June? What was something that I would like to improve upon that I didn't do in June? Because we want to be honest too. We never focus on the negative, but you want to think about that. Think about what was maybe something I was really grateful for. Like, have some reflection time. And then when you have that reflection, that can help you move into the next month. So what are your goals? So what do goals look like? And you can break them down into small goals and then big goals. So if you think about, okay, when July 31st hits, I want to have 1,000 PV, 3 new ambassadors, 3 new customers, and help 2 of my people go silver. Okay, so that's a pretty legit goals. Like, I think 3 and 3 is always a good baseline. Just kind of throw that out there. I teach this to my team a lot, and we hear that a lot. Go silver, go silver. But if you're getting 3 customers consistently and 3 new ambassadors consistently, you can pretty much bank on having a business that's moving forward. As long as you're, in your training and you're giving them the resources and plugging them in. Anything less than that, you might find yourself having a difficult time beating attrition. That's very real in our business. If you're new, what that means is you've got people, you're adding people, but people are quitting. And what you've got to be able to do in your business is beat the attrition. You don't want to have more people quitting than you have adding, because when the quitting happens and the adding isn't, you're going backwards. I'll share this analogy with you guys. This visual was a great visual that my sponsor shared with me. She said, network marketing is like it's like a big bathtub. And the faucet, you got your faucet running, but see, the problem with the bathtub, our bathtub, is the drain's always up. The drain's never closed. And so with that drain up, if you turn the water off, eventually all the water is going to get a drain out of the bathtub and you have nothing left. So you always have to have the faucet on kind of full throttle, because the water is always draining. That's kind of what attrition is. And so the harder your faucet is running, the higher your bathtub is going to sew. If your faucet is just kind of trickling, you're going to have your water's going to get down. So I just like to think, obviously I am a goal number. I don't know, anybody else having a weird feedback? Yeah. I wonder what that is. I don't know.
Stuff printed off here.
But if you're kind of in your brain thinking, as I'm moving from month to month, 3 and 3 is a good place to kind of ground yourself. Okay, I mean, over 3, your faucet's running harder. Under that, you're having to work on nutrition. So you can work on like big goals for the month, so that your PV, your new ads, you're going to help promote. You might put on for the goals for your month. I want to do a training. I want to do an online event, and I want to do a live event with a partner. Okay, those would be great goals if you're doing those things. And a lot of these things that we're teaching in the Amazing Race about kind of those activities, right? Some of those activities that you can kind of pour into make goals. But then you kind of want to back it up, and you want to say, okay, but what do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish weekly? Because that's important too. So you've got the big month, and then you've got the week, and you break it down. At the end of the week, I want to have, 3 face-to-face meetings. I want to be able to have 2 coaching calls done. I want to have 3 videos, personal development videos, a book, whatever. You guys, what I'm saying. But so then you have your weekly kind of goals, and then you can even back it down to daily, and that's about time blocking. Like looking at your day, so and I like to do it sort of the night before. Is I'll kind of think about, okay, tomorrow is Wednesday, and I've got this much time in a day. What do I want to get accomplished in this day? And the night before, write it out. And I personally time block. And so that's sort of, for me, goal setting, because if I'm time blocking it, then it's a goal that I want to accomplish to get that piece done in that time block. And so I time block everything, because I have 5 kids and a Plexus business. and a dog that just got spayed, who's a puppy and is fat. So really I have more kids because it's like, oh my gosh, the dog takes up as much time as the kids. And so I just have a lot. And so I have to time block laundry, and I have to time block grocery shopping, and like all kinds of stuff. So those are kind of some daily goals that you can set too. And when you become good at that, and you become used to it, and it becomes something that you're comfortable with, you find that you can be very much more highly effective with your time management, right? And get a lot more done in a shorter amount of time. That's all I had for goals.
I want you to do like a whole like training on that, because I feel like I need that in my life. Because I get to the point where I'm like, I'm going to do all the things, and then I look at my calendar and I'm like, oh wait, how am I going to do all the things again? Pink training.
Yeah. Well, I'll share another tip that I have found helps me a lot for my week, because we have different things we need to get done. I've got team needs, I've got family needs, I've got my personal IPA needs, and so I actually pick theme days. Okay, so like on Mondays, I've kind of designated as like my team coaching call day. That's where I'm going to really connect with some of my team members. And right now I'm kind of focusing on those people that are halfway to goal, like in that area. So we're doing coaching calls and focusing on team stuff, getting my graphics made if I have, calls or challenges or whatever. All team stuff is on Monday. And then I've got Tuesdays is I'm like really focused on my IPA, like really like power hour type focus where everything else gets pushed aside. And then I've got on Wednesday set aside for my going out and meeting people day, because I also have my husband helping me with my kids on Wednesday. So I know when I can get up early on a Wednesday morning, and that's the day I'm going to put my makeup on and look nice. And that way, if it comes up for face-to-faces and coffee dates and stuff, it's like I always know that's my day. Like I can meet you, and then I might have 2 coffee dates and 2 lunch dates, and that's fine. Just eat twice. But anyway, and then for me, I have Thursday as my family field trip day. I tell my kids, like, mommy works, we're summertime, but on Thursdays, we're going to do something fun, and work gets pushed aside. So anyway, I have found that by doing that helps keep me more focused and getting more done.
Awesome. Okay, let me say this too. So to kind of like piggyback on all that too, like sometimes I'll hear people say like, I'll say, well, what's your goal for July or whatever? And they'll go, oh, well, I want my team to add 50 people, and I want to have 500 points. And then I'll go, okay, cool. So you have to look at like, what does your team typically do? What would that look like? If you're going for a leaders retreat and you want to say like, I want to have earned leaders, 750 credits by, the end of July. Okay, well, how many have you earned so far? What would that take? So how many personally sponsored would that take? What is your PV typically? How many does your team typically add? Push a little bit further past that. So kind of like take your goal and then back up a little bit. What would that require in personally sponsored, in team sponsored, and in PV each month? Because sometimes, people will get really excited about their goals, which is really great. But then when you look and, they say, well, I'd have to add 60 people this month. How many of you typically add 5? Well, we'd have to do a whole lot of work. What are your plans to do that? So kind of look at where your leaders retreat points are, or whatever your goal is, and back that up as what it would take each month to get there.
And on top of that, you guys, if your goal is right here and you're typically like here in your production level, make it an affirmation. If that's something you really like, here's your personal growth girl. Like I'm your personal growth girl. If it's, sorry, Isaiah's trying to go to sleep. If it's really something that you believe in your heart your team can do, make it an affirmation. Hey, my team adds hundreds of Hope dealers every month. That's one of my affirmations for my team. We have 5 silvers every single month. Make those things affirmations, because not only are you speaking that over your business, but you're getting to a point where you're starting to recognize that it's possible. Maybe, you only have 5 people on your team and it's hard to see those things. Well, call them as though they aren't, as though you want them to be. Really speak that truth over your business. So there's another plug for affirmations. That they work, you guys, because they get your mindset going in the right direction.
So true. So I love affirmations. I've had that conversation with many people this week about that. Paste the affirmations all over your wall where you can see them every single day. Train your brain. Good. Cool. Well, did we have anything else? Because that's what we wanted to talk about, end of the month and goals. And unless anybody else, we did want to be able to kind of have a little bit of Q&A. Does anybody have anything that they would love to kind of shout out and ask one of us?
And unmute yourself, you guys, if you guys want to talk.
I know 53 people on is kind of intimidating.
Do you know of any good books for learning how to goal set better?
Oh, that's a great, I don't off the top of my head, but I think I might find one. Do you guys?
You mean just like understanding like how to properly goal set, or do you feel like there's like something that's kind of a roadblock to you goal setting?
I guess I don't even know where to start to do the goal. And then I let my mind get the best of me, and it's like, So I don't know if there's a book that would help me break it down, like Goal Setting 101 for Dummies or something. I don't know.
Oh, I'm looking for something. Hold on. That's why my head's going down, because I have something, but I'm a good goal setter, but I'm not a very organized person. So hang on.
We'll just have Dawn do a training for us.
I know probably on our team pages we've talked about goal setting before, so maybe you might be able to just find some good information by searching your team page for goal setting, because I know I'm sure we've
I've been seeing it on that show.
I think that ties in with a positive mindset, and it just reminds me of the book that we had read about positive mindset as a faculty last year, because as you hit your roadblocks, you set your goals in your mind, that yes, I can do this, I am going to do this, kind of thing. And if you approach it in that way, then no matter what you end up running up against, you just set your mind that you're going to do it. I don't know that a setting goal 101 is an applicable thing, because you never know what you're going to run up against or what your fears end up being along the path.
Yeah, I will say if it's like a time management issue that you feel like you're up against, the book Eat That Frog is so good, and it's actually a pretty quick read. But the premise of it is basically do the hardest thing first. Like, just do the hardest thing first, get that over with in your day, and then it's amazing how productive you'll be the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
The one thing that I've really kind of noticed with doing Plexus and being on these calls and talking with everybody and listening to what everyone has to say, I ride motorcycles. And when you ride motorcycles, you take a motorcycle safety course, usually as often as you possibly can. And the reason you take it is because you can never know enough. Every time you take it, much like these calls, every time you get on one, you learn something new. You learn something, you glean something that can help you further along the way to push you past that point that maybe you're stuck at. And that's what I have found from these calls. So my thing that I really learned is that I never give up. I never stop pushing forward. I put on those blinders. I put my line in the sand. I just keep going. And I don't let anybody deter me. But as far as these calls go, my God, you cannot get enough from them, and you will learn every single time. Maybe it'll push you past that one little point, that one little place that you seem to be stuck at. So all you guys, don't give up. Don't stop working on what you're doing, and always push forward. Give that little bit of extra for yourself. If you've been the golden child for many people, much as I have, it's time to be the golden child for yourself. And these phone calls and these things that we do together as a group are tantamount to making us get to that point. So keep on keeping on. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Margie. Rock on. That is good.
That's my girl. I'm just saying, that's my girl.
Okay.
Good. That's good.
And I'm sitting on my back porch. It's the reason why you guys keep getting this headshot like I'm the wizard.
Well, I can't see you. I was just looking. I just went through and scrolled through. I was like, where is Margie? I can't see her talking.
It's just the head. It's just the head talking, like on the Wizard of
Talking
Oz.
head. No, I think that's good. One thing that came up when Margie was just talking, I'll just add, I think that's why if you having sidelines that you regularly sort of brainstorm with and learn from is really beneficial. And that's actually how the four of us became friends, is because we were all senior rubies and we were all feeling a little bit stuck. Honestly, it came from a point of frustration where we felt like we were spinning our wheels and we were not doing what we needed to do to get to the next level. And we wanted Emerald, like we could see it, but we just couldn't quite get there, right, guys? And so it came out of a place of frustration and a little bit of desperation, but openness to learn from others. So that's actually how we came together, and we started doing these Friday morning Zoom calls where we would just jump on and we would just brainstorm, and we would say, what are you doing, Amber? What are you doing, Julie, Amy? And ended up growing into something. And I can honestly say that I think that season of frustration, desperation, reaching out and being open to learning from others is what helped move us all over the hump to meeting our goals.
Oh, I agree 100%. Like, yes, Dawn, actually, so we were doing that. I had been stuck at Senior Ruby for 20 months, you guys. 20 months of being on the verge of Emerald and not going Emerald is like torture. If you're going to be stuck, Senior Ruby isn't a bad place to be stuck, but at the same time, you're like, okay. And I will say the day that Dawn turned Emerald, because we were all like going for Emerald together, I can remember where I was. Like, we were at the museum with the kiddos, and I saw that, and I like started bawling because like she was the first one of us that went Emerald, and it kind of like there was something in me that it gave me permission to go for it. Like, I had been holding myself back, and the day she went Emerald, I was like, I'm doing it. Like, that gave me permission to go after my goal, whereas before I was like, okay, that's selfish, you know, blah blah blah. And you guys, those power partners are huge for your journey.
Mm-hmm. So don't always think that it's got to be like going to a big call or an upline or your team. Be bold. Go reach out. Go find people that you connect with that are at your same level, that are walking the same walk. Other silvers working for golds working for senior golds, people that you connect with and lock arms. And be intentional. I mean, you know, when I say lock arms, you got to be intentional and say, hey, we're going to do a call every Friday at 10 o'clock. Or we're going to meet, if they're local, at the coffee shop every other. You know, you've got to be the one. But it will absolutely benefit your business, I will say with 100% confidence. Awesome. Good stuff, you guys. It's getting kind of late on my end because we're East Coasters. It's almost 10 o'clock.
Well, thank you guys so much for jumping on. I have this recorded, so we'll post it on The Amazing Race. And if your power partners weren't on tonight, go ahead and tag them in it so they can watch it tomorrow. But we are so excited for you guys. The fact that we have this many people on tonight just shows your commitment to your goals. So way to go showing up. And let's finish June strong, you guys. We still have 3 more days to crush it.
You know, actually, I'm going to add something. I just thought of this. We did not put it as a challenge, but let's go ahead and write out some goals. Let's do that. Let's add that as a piece of what we're all going to do. And even if you're not in the Amazing Race Challenge, write out some goals, take a photo, post it in your team page or post it in the Amazing Race, hold ourselves accountable for it. Right, guys? Like, we can talk about it all day long, but if we don't take the step and actually do it, it doesn't matter. So let's be intentional about the action.